Sourdough dinner rolls. Soft, fluffy, homemade sourdough dinner rolls to die for. I literally had to stop making these because I will eat an entire pan all by myself. They are so fluffy with a hint of sweet and so delicious. I slaved away for a whole 15 minutes making these gorgeous rolls from scratch. What? No kneading, no stretch and folds, and no more kneading? What? How can this be? Watch and I'll show you how. By the way, I'm MJ, founder of loadedpotato.org and your refrigerator eliminator. I help you hack your kitchen with quick, easy, budget-friendly meals using only shelf-stable ingredients straight from your pantry. These dinner rolls are so simple and so easy. With just 15 minutes of prep, these should be on your dinner table. Total time, including rising and baking, is about 24 hours though, so plan accordingly. Only 15 minutes of actual work time. I have the recipe here from Loaded Potato to feed 5 printed out. But go to loadedpotato.org and you can change the recipe to feed 5, 10, 15, or 20. And check out the pepperoni pizza sliders that I use these rolls to make. Amazing. And also check out the auto grocery calculator if you want to have this meal on hand to go in the pantry, and it will calculate exactly the groceries you need to feed this and any other Loaded Potato meal for one meal for 5 people or 20 people every night for 10 years. Pick your meals, we do all the calculating, even add to cart right on site, all free. Anyways, let's get started on these delicious sourdough dinner rolls. So, in a large bowl with your handy digital kitchen scale, we're going to combine 113 grams of active sourdough starter. You can see that I had this rise yesterday. It was at full peak about 24 hours ago, and then I let it fall again. So now it's hungry and ready to go. So we're gonna combine 113 grams of starter, which is about a half a cup. Zero out our scale. And there we have it. Now we're gonna zero out our scale again, and we're going to add 177 grams of water, which is about 3/4 cup. Now we're gonna stir the starter into the water, make sure it's all dissolved together. Okay, we're gonna zero out our scale again, and we're gonna add 84 grams of honey, which is about 1/4 cup of honey. Now I love measuring everything straight into the bowl with the scale. Putting honey into a measuring cup and then dumping it in here, putting everything into a measuring cup, you just have so many dishes. Put everything in one bowl and measure accordingly, so much easier. And we're gonna zero out our scale again, and we're gonna add 56 grams of olive oil, which is about 1/4 cup. And we're gonna zero out our scale again, and we're gonna add 3 grams of salt, which is about 2 teaspoons. Now we're gonna stir this all together. It makes it smell, the olive oil plus the sourdough makes it smell straight like a legit Italian restaurant. It smells so good, oh man. Okay, once you got it all mixed together, should look something, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of oily mess. Now we are going to add our flour. We're going to zero out our scale again, and we're gonna add 425 grams of flour, which is about 2½ cups. Now we're gonna mix it all together using a knife at first, as much as we can. Once you've made it about as far as you can with your knife, you can just dive right in with your hand. And yes, this is gonna be sticky. We're gonna it may need some flour, additional flour later on, depending on your climate, but we're gonna let it rise nice and sticky and add a little flour after it rises if we need any extra. All right, once you got it all mixed together, it's just a giant ugly blob. All it is, so simple. Now, get the goop off your fingers. Now we're gonna take a shower cap or a towel, whatever you got. I love shower caps. And you're just gonna cover it. And you're gonna put it in the corner of the room, put it in a warm place, and forget about it for 16 to 20 hours. And once our dough ball has doubled tomorrow, we will be able to finish our rolls, bake them, and enjoy. See you in 18 hours. All right, it's been 20 hours since we left it in the corner, and our dough has risen beautifully. It fell a little bit when I brought it over here, but you can see here, it is nice and bubbly and smells amazing. So now, all we have to do is we're gonna punch it down, my favorite part, and watch it deflate. I love that part, I don't know why. So you can kind of see that it's still kind of sticky when you start grabbing it and pulling it away. You can see that. All the air bubbles in there. Just perfect. Gorgeous, gorgeous. It smells so good. So we're gonna pull it away from the bowl a little bit. And you will actually be surprised how sticky it was yesterday when we initially made it and how much less sticky it is today. That's why I wanted to hold off on adding any extra flour so we could determine how much we're gonna actually need. Actually, weather affects it a lot, and it is so rainy and gloomy here right now. So here is our dough ball. And honestly, it's not that bad. It's a little sticky. Probably needs maybe about an extra quarter cup. We're gonna see. Kind of eyeball this. Add it little bit by little bit at a time. So just get out your flour, sprinkle in maybe about a quarter cup, and then we're gonna mix it all together. And you'll be able to immediately see that it's definitely helping with the stickiness. Let's twist it all around. Once you can tell it's not really sticking, you can see it's not sticking at all. You can start mixing all that extra flour in. However, if you are in a desert, you probably don't need to add any extra flour. The humidity in the air takes a huge toll on your recipes, which I didn't believe at first, but being in southern Texas, making this recipe in the middle of summer, I don't have to add any flour. But when I make this recipe in the winter, when it's rainy and cold, I have to add extra flour. It's so weird. So you just gotta determine until you get a nice dough ball like this, and it's not a little bit sticky, but you just don't want it to be sticking to your hands, and enough that you can make a nice dough ball. Once your dough ball has a good consistency, still a tiny bit sticky, but it's not sticking to your hand so much. You can pull it out, and you can very easily turn it into a nice little dough ball. What we're gonna do is we're gonna divide it into our rolls. So I'm making my recipe to serve 5. So this is going to be divided into 9 rolls. You can eyeball it if you want. I like to measure mine. Zero out my scale, weigh my ball. I'm at 924 grams. So I'm just gonna obviously divide by 9. It's gonna be 102, 24, 103. 5, a little over 100. We're just gonna call it a little over 100. So now we're gonna take our pan, we're gonna oil our pan. We're gonna start dividing our dough ball. Your dough ball should look something like this. It's just a little 2-inch dough ball or whatever weight you need. Okay, once you got your dough balls all divided, looking something like this, all nice and even. Now we're gonna let it rise for another 2 hours before you bake it. So you can cover it with your towel. I'll just like to use my shower cap again. You can just leave it on the counter. However, if you have a proofing feature on your ovens where it keeps it like, I don't know, 90-ish degrees in your oven to proof bread, literally what it's for proofing bread, you can use that setting, and that's my favorite thing to do. So I'm gonna set my oven to proof. And I'm gonna let my rolls rise for another 2 hours before they're ready to bake. Okay, so the rolls have been rising for 2 hours in the oven on a proof feature. And they're looking like this. They have risen beautifully and they smell so good. So now we're just going to set our oven to 375 and brush on a little bit of olive oil right on the top. Should be looking something like this. And now we're just gonna bake them for about 25 to 30 minutes until they are golden brown. All right, the rolls have been baking for about 25 minutes and they are gorgeous. Ah! Oh my gosh. Oh, they smell so good. So now all we have to do is pull them out, make sure they're not stuck. The pan does a great job making sure they don't get stuck. You could serve them just like this, or you could plate them. Just plop them out and flip them. So now we have these beautiful dinner rolls. They are ready to turn into our pepperoni pizza sliders, or you could just serve them with dinner. Either way, they are so delicious. Now all we gotta do is serve them. But Maybe we should taste test it first. Hot, 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 hot. Oh man. Oh, these are so good. Oh my gosh, they don't even need any butter. They're so moist. And so delicious. Wow. And let me know in the comments, who in your family eats the most rolls? I am a bread fanatic. When I was little, I would live on bread and butter. And sourdough is much better for you than store-bought bread and much more delicious. Look how fluffy that is. And be sure to follow me for more amazing recipes using only shelf-stable ingredients, and check out loadedpotato.org to see all of our recipes, meal plans, grocery list, and recommended products to save you time, money, and reduce your dependence on the refrigerator. Till next time.